Am I the a-hole for asking my brother to evict my parents because they've asked me to give up my room to my stepsister? I'm 16 female and have an older brother who is the owner of the house we live in. He's my half-brother from the same mom. I live with my dad, stepmom, and stepsister 17 in the house. My brother let my dad and I stay in this house because we were evicted from the previous place as my dad had lost his job and couldn't pay rent. It's a 3-bedroom house. So currently my stepsister and I have our own room and I have the bigger room with my own bathroom while hers doesn't. My stepsister is 6 months pregnant. And when she was 3 months pregnant, my dad and stepmom told me that once the baby is born, her boyfriend is going to move in with us and they will need 2 rooms, one for them and one for the baby. So they offered to clear out the shed we have outside for my stuff and I can just sleep on a couch at night. I'm not happy about this. I talked to my brother and he agreed this is unreasonable. So I asked him if he can just evict my parents so I don't have to deal with my stepmom and stepsister anymore. My brother suggested that I move in with him so that I won't live there when they are served the eviction notice, as he was worried that they would blame me and it wouldn't be nice if I was living there. So just about a week ago, my stepsister's boyfriend moved in as well. I have now moved in with my brother and they have been served the eviction notice, which is 2 months. My dad, stepmom, and stepsister have been calling me nonstop asking me to convince my brother to reconsider and calling me heartless. My stepsister texted me saying I'm the biggest a-hole she's ever met because I'm making her homeless at the peak of her pregnancy and it's her baby that I'm punishing. Am I an a-hole? Edit. FYI, we were living there rent-free. Not the a-hole. The family is taking advantage of your brother and keeps moving more people into the house he owns. I am assuming nobody pays rent. It is your brother's right to evict them. Maybe your stepsister should take responsibility for herself and the unborn baby. I can't believe these people wanted to put you in a shed. Yes, we weren't paying rent. It's good of your brother to take care of you since your father won't. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. They don't need a separate room from the child. They need to all sleep together in one room. So when the baby cries, they definitely hear the baby crying and can tend to the baby's needs. It's your brother's home. I'm not sure why they thought this would fly when you're likely the only reason he let them stay there anyway. A newborn baby could technically live in a drawer because it doesn't need much space. In the ideal world, the baby can have its own room. Also, apparently almost everyone is homeless in this story because her boyfriend doesn't seem to have his own place either. Or they assumed it would be okay to kick a teen out of her room. I don't know. Yes, my dad works and stepmom can get a job as well. The boyfriend was just fired, but he can get another job. They can get their own place, but that means paying rent. Not the a-hole. Your brother is no relation to your dad or stepmother. So the only reason he even let you guys live there was for you. If they aren't letting you live in the house, he has no reason to let them stay and could be making a lot more money with other tenants. So it's actually to his benefit to evict them. They made choices that were bad parenting. And now they're paying for them. Their choices, their problem. Not yours. Ever. Next story. Am I the a-hole for demanding my brother with a baby on the way to buy me a new phone? For some backstory, my brother, 23 male, is an aspiring prank YouTuber trying to get extra money for his upcoming baby. I, 20 male, am a big techie, and I have recently been the victim of one of his stupid pranks. For even more backstory, I also don't have a lot of money, but there are a few things that I treat myself to, like the new iPhone. Every year, I save up all year to be able to get the new iPhone. So, the whole prank was that he sneaks up behind me, grabs my iPhone, runs to the bathroom and throws it at a wall. Well, as you can expect, the phone was messed up, completely bent and couldn't be fixed. When I started yelling at my brother, he told me he was just trying to make money for his baby. When I went to Apple Store, they told me that it couldn't be fixed, as it cost more to fix it than buy a new phone. So I told my brother that he owed me $1,200 to buy me the new one. He told me that the screen was just cracked, but I showed him the letter from the store and my phone receipt. He eventually paid me, but he told me that I was taking money straight out of his unborn child's pocket. I don't know how to feel about it, because on one hand, I worked all year saving up to get that phone, and it was important to me. But on the other hand, he is going to have a child next month that he is going to have to support. Not the a-hole. That wasn't a prank. That was straight up stupidity. Who throws a phone at the wall and doesn't expect it to break? Your brother doesn't sound mature enough to have a child. Agreed. If you are going to prank someone by damaging their property, you should be ready to pay to replace it. OP not the a-hole. Maybe talk to your brother and tell him what's off limits for his pranks. Anyone who pulls a prank like that is off limits for pretty much any interaction with me. It's like his frontal lobe is a pocket of air. Aspiring prank YouTuber is the stupidest string of words I've ever heard, especially if his idea of pranking involves committing crimes on camera. Not today, Hall, and I pray for that kid's future. Yeah, every time I see one of those family prankster lol channels, I just pray that the spouse eventually gets tired of how the kids are being treated and divorces them. The thing that his brother and many viewers don't seem to realize is that in many of these long-running prank channels where they're pranking their friends or family, the pranks are staged. The person who is getting pranked is in on it from the beginning and agreed to it. And they're usually a bunch of guys with rich parents, and so think nothing of destroying all kinds of stuff because they can just buy a new one, and then hire a maid to clean up the mess. And frequently have sponsors. Only idiots destroy property and commit crimes without sponsors, prior agreement, or the knowledge that they'll be losing gobs of money for a while, if they hit it big enough to recoup ever. Not today, Hall, and that's not a prank. A prank is grabbing your phone and throwing a different already broken one at the wall, then giving you yours back unharmed immediately. You break it, you bought it. Maybe this is why the brother's YouTube prank channel isn't doing so great. Next prank? He steals his brother's car and rolls it off a cliff. That's it. The end. Hilarity. YouTube views. Thousands of dollars in ads. Baby set for life. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for not telling my dad about an award I was getting in school? My dad found out about this last week, but I got the award at the start of May. Background, my parents are divorced, and until I was 7, my parents shared custody of me. My dad was remarried at a time, had 3 stepkids. His oldest stepkid's dad was moving for work, and she wanted to move with him, and the court said that she could. My dad's wife didn't want to be apart from her oldest or to separate her 3 kids, so she wanted to move as well. When Dad told me, I begged him to stay. He told me he had to be with his family and that them staying was not an option. I told him he could stay for me, but again he said no. So he moved with them, and then I went from seeing him all the time to seeing him for a few weeks in the summer. I never forgave him for moving. Over the years, they attempted to make it appealing for me to live with them, saying I would have siblings all the time and how great it was there and stuff. But I never wanted to leave my mom, and I was too mad that he picked them over me. I have faded from him over time. I only speak to him during court-mandated times, and I don't see him unless I absolutely have to. He tries, but his choice was made when he moved, and my opinion on that isn't changing. My dad found out via Facebook about the award. My school only put the photos up a week ago, and my dad was really upset. He told me they could have flown out to show support, and it would have been a nice extra visit for us. I asked him what was the point, that his choice was made 9 years ago, that they were more important and my life didn't involve them anymore. He went on about him being my dad and deserving to know and how proud he was, etc. And why couldn't I see? Why was I out to hurt him? I told him I wasn't trying to hurt him, but that I was never going to have that relationship he wants after he left me to be with his family, and that all choices have consequences, which he and my mom taught me, and that he is now living with his, and that his daughter doesn't want a relationship with him anymore. His wife called after and told me I should have told him that regardless of how I feel, he has a right to know. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. He made his choice to be with his family. Now he gets to reap the consequences. I just wonder if your anger is hurting your emotional and mental well-being. Your dad needs to acknowledge that he chose his family over you and apologize for this. Opie sounds pretty well adjusted, unless there's other stuff she hasn't mentioned. I was about 16 when I finally gave up trying to convince my father to act like a father. I think the Opie is probably in the same place I was, just so tired of being angry and hurt and switching to indifferent to protect their own heart. So I directed my love and efforts towards the people who did make time for me, like my mom and grandma. I definitely feel for Opie. That regardless of how I feel, he has a right to know. No, he doesn't. I get your dad had to make a hard choice, but he did make his choice. And with that choice, any right he has is completely gone. Not stay home. These are the consequences of his decision. He does know though, and if he wanted to know sooner, he could have stayed in town. Opie, you are not the a-hole. And congratulations. Not the a-hole. He made a choice to leave you. I think the bigger a-hole here is the wife. She wanted to move to be near her daughter but didn't give a damn about him not getting to be near his daughter. Her daughter chose to leave her mom to be with her dad. You didn't choose to leave your father. You got left behind. So no, you don't owe him anything. He left to be with his new family without a thought to what it would do to your relationship with him. If the wife calls you again, tell her that all of this is a result of her being selfish when her daughter made a decision to leave her. I blame him more because her daughter came first, and that's how it should be. My dad decided it wasn't first, and chose to stay with a woman who did put her own kids first. There's a real big message in that in my opinion, and it's one I have never been able to unsee. Fair enough. My point was around the fact that her daughter chose to leave her. You weren't given any such choice. I agree your father should not have left. I should have pointed out that you're right. Dad's stepdaughter had way more choice than me. She got to choose to be with her dad. I had no choice in mine leaving me since he made a decision. Last story. Am I the a-hole? My sister told me my deceased wife would think I was doing a horrible job raising my kids solo. Some background. I'm a young widower. My wife lost her years-long fight against breast cancer 5 years ago at 42 years of age. My preteen kid and I are trying to keep it together, and in my opinion, we are doing a damn fine job. A conclusion my in-laws wholeheartedly agree with. After COVID started, we went without haircuts for a while trying to social distance with good reason. The last thing we needed was to lose another family member. We discussed haircuts, and my son decided to grow his hair out in order to donate it to a charity that made wigs for kids who were undergoing cancer treatment, which I was 100% behind. He had to do lots of work. There were many arguments about his hair getting rough looking and knotted up, and an equal amount of me working through the knots and tangles. My son is a great kid. He genuinely cares for other people, is kind, considerate, and helpful. He is an excellent student and is due to start in a gifted program at school. He's a natural musician and plays guitar, trumpet, and piano. He's happy and well-adjusted, and we have a very close relationship. Way better than what I had with my own father. I'll make any sacrifice for him. There are times I have to watch myself that I don't come off as bragging about what he has accomplished. Mid-2021, he went out with his buddy to go fishing in the neighborhood and was gone a lot longer than expected. I started to worry. A lot. I'll freely admit I have real PTSD regarding family members being in distress. He was safe, but went farther than we agreed upon, which I was upset about. On his way home, before I knew where he was, he stopped by my sister's house to say hi and get a drink, which was fine with me. He should feel safe to do those kinds of things. However, after he left to continue home, my sister felt it necessary to call me to let me know he was on his way home. And for good measure, thought she should voice her concerns that my wife would think I was doing a horrible job raising my son. She didn't like that his hair was so long. I was livid and haven't been able to let it go. The interaction has stayed with me over a year. In the meantime, she takes opportunities to mention trivial things, and each burns me equally hard. I'm literally at the point of cutting her out of our lives for good. I could do without a constant unfounded criticism, but feel bad because I don't want my son to miss out on family. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. And is your sister doing anything at all to help and support you raising your son? Your sister is a seagull. Someone who makes a lot of noise, craps and everything, and then flies away without having done anything. Great analogy. Reminds me of the jellyfish friend quote from Bridget Jones' Diary. She's not your friend. Talking to her is like swimming in a lovely warm sea. Then suddenly something stings you and next thing everything is back to normal except a bit of you really hurts. Not the a-hole. That is such a horribly low blow for something that's not even a big deal. Your son is at the age where he can decide what he wants to do with his hair. As long as it's clean and well kept, the length of it isn't an issue. You say he's a respectful kid with good grades and talent. That is what everyone should be focusing on, not the hair. If this is regular interactions between you and your sister, then it's definitely time to go no contact. She just sounds cruel, and your son doesn't need to be around people like that, even if she's family. Not the a-hole. Your sister reminds me of my uncle, the brother of my dad who died 2 months before I was born. I can't tell you how many times I heard him say that my father is rolling over in his grave because of my hair, my clothes, the music I listened to, or anything really. It got to the point where I second-guessed everything, because I was afraid of my dad, who I am literally desperate to know about, would be upset with my decision. When I had kids, I realized how wrong he is. Don't let your sister make you second-guess how amazing you are doing, because you are doing great. And your wife will always be smiling down on her two guys, proud of every step you two take together. You literally brought tears to my eyes. I think you can get it based on similar experiences. There is so much already going through my head on my own, let alone getting unsolicited feedback. I'm sorry you had to deal with that, but glad you were able to figure it out on your own. Dealing with grieving a loved one messes with you enough as it is. You for sure do not need anything or anyone else adding to the weight of your grief. I don't know what is wrong with your sister. I hope she can get over herself and see how she's hurting you and make up for it. Wishing you lots of happiness and peace going forward.